Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, hello, I'm the Toy Lady. If you're returning, hey. So before we get started, let's start disclaimer. If you're not 18, give the phone to your mama, tell your auntie I said like, share, and subscribe. How your grandma doing? So listen, I had somebody ask me today, is it okay to have sex while you have a yeast infection? Now, I've never dealt with that before, so I had to get my Google on, and I think I figured out the answer for you. Now, let's just explain what a yeast infection is, and what causes it, and then, sis, I'm gonna let you know. But before I let you know, I'm gonna tell you this: just cause you can do something, don't mean that you should. Anyway, uh, what causes the yeast infection? So it's a type of fungus that normally lives inside of the body and on your skin, according to the CDC. Y'all know that be anyway. Okay, so sometimes the fungus grows out of control in places like your vagina, your throat, and your mouth. And when this happens, you can end up with a yeast infection, which causes some very, very unpleasant side effects like vaginal itching, irritation, and burning. Okay. And then they say, trust us, you know when something ain't right. Okay. That said, your vagina naturally contains a balance of uh both of the bacterias, right? So uh a friendly bacteria that works to inhibit the overgrowth of the yeast, right? So as long as everything is in balance, it's like you got 50 soldiers on one side and 50 on the other, so it's balanced, right? But then sometimes we be doing shit that mess up our pH balance, and when we mess up the pH balance, that's when you start to get the overgrowth of one bacteria or one fungus, okay? And that causes the yeast infection. Now, apparently, a lot of pregnant people get yeast infections. Taking birth control or doing hormone therapy can cause a yeast infection. Taking antibiotics, because antibiotics kill all the bacteria. It doesn't it kills the good bacteria and the bad. Like I said, we got good bacteria in our body, we got bad. But as long as they stay at 50-50 on the good and 50 on the bad, then you straight. Your pH balance is together. But when it's thrown off, you have overgrowth of one or the other. Okay. So when you're taking the antibiotics, that's why birth control don't work. It kills the good, the bad, and the ugly. And especially if your immune system is compromised. Okay. Now, some other things that'll throw off your pH balance is like scented soaps, laundry detergents, and yes, even having sex. Don't be out here with these dirty ninjas. Don't be out here using these dirty toys, because it can and will mess up your pH balance and putting you at a higher risk of having a yeast infection. And again, you can get a yeast infection on your genital areas. You can get it in your throat. You can get yeast infection in your throat. So, ma'am, she said, can you have sex with a yeast infection? So let's go back up here because it does say this. So there is Dr. Felicia Jerish, MD. She says you are capable of having sex while undergoing treatment for your yeast infection, but it is not advisable. So again, just because you can do something, don't mean that you should do something. Now she goes on to say, and this is her advice to anybody who is asking who has a current yeast infection and is wondering if they can and or should be having sex with their partner. Her advice, okay, is to allow healing and restoration to occur without any friction or trauma to the vaginal tissues. In other words, it's best to avoid making the situation down there any worse by trying to bust a nut. Okay. She advises you waiting since there's a small chance of passing the yeast infection to your partner. Okay. and it could just be really uncomfortable. Now, let's go back to the thing she just said. She advises you not to do it because it's a chance of passing the yeast infection to your partner. So, if you and your partner are having sex, right? And you take a break and then you decide, I need to get it back up. So, let me throw my throat in a circle, and you have an active yeast infection and he already been up in you, so now you throw your throat in a circle and you wake up tomorrow, and not only do you have a yeast infection on your vagina, you now have a yeast infection in your fucking throat. So sis, don't do it. Just because you can do it don't mean that you should do it. Now the doctor say it's gonna be uncomfortable and you don't want to mess around and get no yeast infection in the throat. But it's your decision. It's your decision. Okay. And this is a fairly new article, honey, February 12th, 2022. Okay. And y'all can see the name of the website up here. And I'll try to put a link down there. Y'all know I'll be forgetting. But just because you can don't mean that you should. So can you have sex while you have a yeast infection? Yes. But should you have sex? Absolutely not. It's gonna be uncomfortable. You are putting somebody else's health at risk, and you can further make the situation worse. Okay, your sexual health should be one of the most important things to you. All right, so yes, sis, just take a break. Okay, take a week off, sis. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. Remember, masturbation is meditation. So go play with your